Alright, so the pet spotlight for today will be on the Son of Sethe, another one of the tier 1 pets. He's the only pet in the game who has 3 damaging healing abilities in all 3 slots, in the form of either Absorb or Plague Blood, Touch of Animus, and Drain Blood. And Drain Blood itself is really damn good. There's only like 2 other pets who can use them, and they're both not half bad just because they have Drain Blood. Drain Blood deals 10% of your opponent's maximum health as damage, and you're healed for 300% of it. So if you're going against a high health opponent, like, oh, I don't know, an Anubis Sethe Idol or something, you'll be healed up for 30% of their health, so it's always a significant amount. He also has quite a bit of damage, but he has really low health. He's kind of squishy, to be honest, but he heals up for a lot. Where do you get this guy at? You get him from Draenor, Ashran, that's where you get it at. You get him in Ashran, you buy him from this little hut. Oh, I don't have my mouse cursor shown in the game. Anyways, I'll be showing a footage of it on like the bottom right anyway. You get him from the hut, you need to be exalted. No, you need to be revered with the Erica Outcast in order to buy him. All he costs is 1,000 gold and 2,000 Apexis crystals, so he's pretty cheap. You can also just buy him off the auction house if you don't want to bother getting rep. He's pretty cheap right now in Warlords, but if you're watching this after Warlords, you're probably better off, you know, just buying him off the auction house. If you don't want to go grab rep for it, because getting rep for them, actually it's not that hard. You can just buy the rep tokens, but might as well just buy the pet if you're going to be buying rep tokens anyway. Okay, so anyways, about the pet itself. Well, he's an undead pet. It used to be back in the day, well, in Miss, pets have only been out for 2 expansions. They used to kind of balance around the OP racials with having bad stats. So like beasts and critters and all the other ones with crappy racials have really good stats to make up for the fact that they don't have the overpowered racial like undeads do. But they kind of abandoned that. And Son of Sethe is a good... It's either Son of Sethe or Son of Sethe. I'm going to be calling him Son of Sethe. Son of Sethe himself, he's a power speed type, but he has more damage than most power types. Let's see, do I have a power type like readily available? Yeah, here's one right here. He has pretty baseline stats. The Kyr's Wolvar Pup has 325 power, and he's a power type. The Son of Sethe has 338. That's a little bit higher. What is it higher? What was this, 325? Yeah, 325 and 338, so it's about like a little over 10 higher. So he's a little bit stronger than power types, which means he heals up for a lot since his damage is basically... No, wait. Only Absorb is the only one that actually scales up based on how strong he is. His other 2 heals don't really care. They kind of ignore damage modifiers. They still... Drain Blood ignores damage altogether though, because it goes based off of straight off health. So Touch of Animus is going to be hitting hard. Absorb is going to be hitting hard than most other Absorbs, and Plague Blood will be hitting hard. I usually take Plague Blood. Sometimes I'll take Absorb if I really just want to live out, but I really like Plague Blood too. Touch of Animus, there's only 2 pets of Touch of Animus, Son of Sethe and Son of Animus, who's also pretty good because of Touch of Animus. Because Touch of Animus, when it's on the target for 2 turns, every time you deal damage to them, you get healed up for like 150. So if you're able to set up a Clockwork Gnome, here, let me look for the Clockwork Gnome. Let's close out of that, open up this stuff, and Clockwork Gnome. If you're able to use a build turret and you have Touch of Animus up, you'll get healed up for like 450 every turn, just because it heals up for like a base amount. It's always like around 150 every time you hit when Touch of Animus up. It's pretty nice, so if you get some dots on your opponent, it's going to heal up your pets in the back row and stuff. Also just use it off cooldown because it just hits really hard and allows you to heal for a lot as well. Plague Blood is like a lesser version of Touch of Animus. Every time you hit, it still heals you up every time, but it's only for like 50. It's like a third of what Touch of Animus does. But there's no cooldown, you can spam it, it also hits pretty hard. Whether you use Absorb or Plague Blood really depends what team you're running. Both are fine. I prefer Plague Blood because it hits harder, because Son of Sethe, while he does have 3 heals, he's able to last for a long time. He's really bad against counters to him, like if you're going against a rabbit or something with other critter type abilities. He's gonna lose. He can heal up for a lot, but he has really low health, so he dies really quickly. But you'll still be able to do a crap ton of damage to them in return. If you're going against another healer, you'll be able to out-heal them. If you're going against someone who doesn't hit very hard, you can probably beat them If you're going against someone who hits really hard, you're going to lose because he has low health. 1300 is really low. That's really squishy. You really want a pet to have at least 1400 health if you're pet battling. Anything under that is squishy, and he's in the squishy range. So, yeah, Plague Blood, Absorb, they're both fine. For your second choice, Touch of Animus, you usually take this, but Hiss is pretty good too. It does as much damage as Touch of Animus. It has a 1 turn less cooldown, and it lowers their speed by 25% for 4 rounds. So you'll be able to outspeed them because he's not that slow for an undead pet at 257 speed. That's almost 260. 260 is like baseline. If a pet doesn't have anything in its speed, it's usually around 260 here. Let me look at the HirusPetBattles again as another example. Where is he at? Here he is. Yeah, see, HirusPetBattles has 260 speed because he has no points in speed. Usually that's what pets are around. He's at 257. He's only 3 lower than a normal pet. So if you use Hiss, you'll be able to outspeed a lot of pets. Not all of them, and probably not speedy pets, but Hiss is not a bad option. Hiss is actually a pretty good ability. Usually you'll be taking Touch of Animus though, because he's all about his heals. And as for his last option, Lift Off. If you took Hiss, that might be a viable option, but since you're able to go first, you can predict and dodge abilities. It's also fine if you just want to dodge abilities you know are coming, like Whirlpool or Geysers. But Drain Blood is so good, I don't really suggest you take Lift Off, even though it is a viable alternative. All of his abilities are viable, which isn't really something you have with most tier 1 pets. Usually they're tier 1 because of a certain like skill set. Kind of like the Tarot Claw Hatchling, it's only really tier 1 because it has like a trifecta of skill sets, and if you deviate from the norm and you don't take Dodge and Nature's Ward, you're doing something terribly wrong. But you can take either Alpha Strike or Claw, and that's really the only thing you can do. With Son of Sethe, you could really take anything. His best option is to take one of the 2 heals, to take Touch of Animus and Drain Blood, because Drain Blood is amazing. But you can also get away with taking Hiss and Lift Off, because they're not bad either. It's just these 2 are better, because, they're heals, and he's all about healing. And he hits hard, so it's all good. If you don't really care about healing with him, because you have a heal in your first slot anyway, you could just take Hiss and Lift Off. They work well together. It allows you to dodge abilities, but only 1, and only predict if you're faster than your opponent, and he's not all that slow. Alright, so you know what? I think I've talked about everything. I went over all of his abilities and told you where to get him. He's a tier 1 pet because of his 3 heals, his high damage, and the fact that he's undead. The fact that he's undead really puts him high. The undead racial is so good. It basically allows you to get off 2 free attacks. Because usually when a pet dies, since most undead pets are slow, they get killed first in the round, and then they'll come back to life for their immunity, and they'll be able to hit for that turn. So they don't have to really worry about getting off their hit before dying like all other pets do, except for mechanicals. And during the turn of immunity, they're pretty much guaranteed to get off the hit unless your opponent dodges it somehow. So the 2 free hits undeads get, mechanicals kinda do too, except when they come back to life they're really squishy, so there's a good chance they'll die if they're not faster than your opponent. But if you are playing a fast mechanical pet, it's almost like playing an undead pet, because you get to come back to life from a finishing move that would have killed you, plus you get that 1 extra turn where your health is around as much as a basic attack, so they just breathe on you, you die. So if you're faster than your opponent, you'll be able to get off something. But undeads don't have to worry about that. They always get 2 free attacks when they're about to die. Mechanicals, they get 1 free attack, maybe a second one if they're faster than your opponent. All other pets though, they don't get those free attacks when they die, so they just kind of worry about that. That's why there's more tier 1 undead pets than any other, just because that racial is so good. And he has the great racial. I'm still surprised its racial is still as good as it is. Like, they haven't nerfed it yet, because there's so many good undead pets. If you just have a team of all undead pets, you'll have a really good chance against everyone else, especially since there's so many tier 1s of them. Alright, and let's see, all of his teams, yeah, he's really good with pets that use, whatchamacallit, dots, or immolation. That works too. He's good with immolation, he's good with turrets, so use them in teams like that.